Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So it is time to take a look at the Z Fold2, a device that I think has really captivated the audience of the people in the smartphone world, and it's definitely captivated my attention. So this device, I've had it for roughly 30 days at this point, and wow, am I impressed. This device pretty much is a complete device. Some people have already called it the phone of the year, myself included. This is the most complete device. If you're looking for a all-arounder, this is the most complete version of a smartphone that can pretty much do it all. And I'm talking about the person who genuinely needs all that extra stuff. and this is the device. The software is laid out perfectly. You got the split screen you can do, add multiple windows and things like that. It is just absolutely great, and I think that a person who is going to be on the lookout for a device that they would consider complete, this is a strong contender. I'll say it like that. So let's start with what we see here, which is the display. Now the display is, I believe, 7.6 inches when it's open, and then you have a 6.2 inch display on the front here when closed. Absolutely fantastic. So you get this full display here. So if you don't want to open the device up, you've got something that you can work with on the outside, get some tasks done. And if you do want to open it up, you have a full-blown tablet. This is in fact a tablet, folks. It is really nice. So the display, let's open up a video here. Absolutely fantastic. I do have a matte screen protector on there, so if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check that out if it's actually live, even I don't know if I put one out yet. But anyway, the display is dumbed down just a little bit because of the matte screen protector. I really had to have a matte screen protector on this thing because I didn't like so much of the oily fingerprints wiping the screen off a lot. Now I don't have to do that anymore. But in the end, you can see that this display is absolutely great, man. This is a fantastic display for media consumption. And you also could hear those stereo speakers on here. You've got one here and you have one here, and that is just absolutely great. The quality of this display is very nice, and furthermore, you get 120 hertz at Quad HD. So if you're unfamiliar with that, it's pretty much the highest resolution of any display out right now. Quad HD at 120 hertz. I don't know of very many phones out there like that. There are some out there, but this is Samsung's offering, and it's absolutely great. Now, when we talk about the display, though, we can't talk about it and just give it a pass all the way around. This is a sheet of thin glass with plastic on the top, and so when you first get this device out of the box, you're going to see a bunch of warnings. And it's going to tell you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, please, you can't do this and you can't do that. That's unfortunate because this is such a beautiful display. It's just a beautiful display, but unfortunately it can be scratched extremely well and extremely fast, and it will scratch easy. So you need to be mindful of that. That is probably one of the downfalls of this device, is having this nice foldable canvas like this, folding a phone into a tablet. They had to sacrifice something there, and they still haven't figured out how to get it to have. I personally think they should switch to this style with the glass and glass and create a nice hinge to have a seamless thing going just like this, and then they can make a thinner version of the Z Fold. But I know they won't do that because this is the tech that they've been working with. And you know, that's just how they're going to do it. So the display, while beautiful, it is thin glass with plastic over it, and it is not the best experience. You do have to be kind of delicate. Remember not to scratch it. And if you can do that, which nobody really scratches their display, but you know, if someone accidentally takes a key to it or something like that, it is going to get damaged. So just keep that in mind. But I do have this screen protector on top of it. I removed the Samsung screen protector and I put my own on here, and that is it. So display, speakers, beautiful, just off the charts. Now performance, you will find that performance is absolutely great when flowing in between things. It loads back up right away. Everything is great. I don't foresee myself having a bad experience with performance on here, because this is in fact the latest processor that's offered, the 865. It's got 12 gigs of RAM, and it's totally handling itself fine. Now the flip side of that is the first generation of this device, it had a 512 gigs of storage, and this one has 256. Also, the first generation had a case and wireless buds in the box. Not so much with this one. We're gonna have to you're gonna have to buy your own, or you accepted some of those deals that you got from Samsung when you purchased yours. You know, a watch and earbuds for $250. That's a really good deal. But unfortunately, I have so many watches and so many earbuds, and you know, the Buds Lives were cool, but they weren't the best sounding earbuds I've ever heard. So, you know, the price of this thing is something that we won't avoid. The price is $2,000 if you do not have any kind of trade-in, and that's unfortunate because this is in fact a fantastic phone. On the other hand, I paid $972 with mine because I had a trade-in of a Galaxy S20 Plus, and then I had credits from Samsung for referrals and stuff, and I got mine at a really nice price with my government discount. So I got it for $972. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm giving this device a pass on areas where it might fail because I got it for a lower price. Price shouldn't dictate your review. If you're a reviewer, if you're claiming a device is bad because of the price, let me tell you, you're doing it wrong and you're misinforming the community. So when we speak of price, yes, this is overpriced to some people. To some people, it's not overpriced, and I've kind of gotten away. I'm trying to get away from it. If I haven't already done so, I'm trying to get away from telling other people what they should and should not buy. I'm not perfect. I might slip up and tell you something like that. Just, you know, do what you want to do in the end. But I feel like personally, this is like the ultimate killer smartphone. But unfortunately, the price is high. So if you can't finance it, or you can't pay full cost like I did and some others, you know, if you really want it, you're gonna have to find a way to start saving throughout the year for these heavy price devices, or you're gonna just have to pass on them and get something a little different that's in the same company that doesn't fold, that doesn't have all the perks of having a tablet in your hand, things like that. So I say that this price, obviously we know it's high, but we don't need to continue to hear the comments from people saying, oh, no phone is worth that amount of money, because we obviously know that cell phones shouldn't cost $2,000, but at the same time, this is what it is, and you're not forced to buy it. So if you're not forced to buy it, your opinion on it is you get one, but if you didn't buy it, you can't very well say that it's not worth $2,000. Does that make sense? So, and this is why I said I'm going to try to avoid telling people what something is worth to them, and I can say what it's worth to me. Now, at the most, I try to spend $1,000, no more than that, on a smartphone, because honestly, the return on it, I don't get millions of views on each video, maybe 5 to 25, 50,000, maybe, you know, so. And that's over an exterior a period of time. So if we're looking at views and revenue for a YouTuber, you need to be mindful of what you're spending on devices, and you need to look for the best deal if you don't get a lot of views. Now, views don't dictate revenue, because I've got videos that only have 5,000 views and I made $1,000. How's that possible? I don't know. They hit the ads, they did whatever. I don't know. But the point is, if you're looking at this device to see where this worth it or something like that, you're going to be the determining factor. Personally, for me, this is totally worth the money. It's totally worth the money. I think this device is totally worth the money. Not the $2,000, because I didn't pay the $2,000 for it, but for those that paid $2,000 for it, you tell me if you think it's worth $2,000. The hardware is premium, but I don't like the hardware better than some other devices. So, price, long conversation. It is what it is. Everybody's going to have their opinion about it. So, and most of the opinions are from people who didn't buy it. So that's why I can only tell you, you know, hey, I want to talk to the people who actually bought it and paid full cost for it, or got a discount like me. You know, do you think it's worth the $1,500 that you paid, or do you think it's worth the $1,750, the $1,950, the $1,800, whatever you paid for it? Do you think it's worth it? You have to make that decision. Now, when it comes to the hardware, I've always said in the past that, you know, this hardware, let's just be clear here, this is a thick, chunky phone. It's a chunky phone. I mean, it's thick. It's two phones sandwiched together. But you have some good stuff going on here. This is premium hardware. They flattened out the sides all around. They got the fingerprint reader in the power button. You've got the nice 3-camera setup on the back, one on the front, and then you have another one in the inside. So they did a good job with the hardware. It's just not as premium as the other hardware I've seen because there's too many can'ts with this phone. You can't do this. You can't do that. There's no IP rating. If you drop it, it may survive, but you know, yeah, it's too much. But hardware though, this is freaking beautiful. And I do have a Sophie Guard skin on here. Shout out to Sophie Guard. Be sure to hit the link in the description or just go to sophieguard.com to grab your skin. The best skins in town, folks, and out of town too. They are the best. But that is how I'm rocking this right now, because unfortunately when it comes to the hardware, there are no cases that are actually working good with this device. Even the Samsung cases just not hitting like that. Samsung is just not kicking out the cases when it comes to what's being offered by this device. It's just not a good look. They messed up, didn't send the molds to everybody quick enough, and then there's no cases, period. All right, so hardware though, there's no headphone jack. You know, it doesn't have an IP rating. There's no SD card slot, but it still feels really good. It feels great, just not the best premium hardware for the price for sure. This is not $1,000 hardware. How about that? So cameras are something on here, and I'll touch on other things too. Cameras on here to me are absolutely great. They do good. My favorite part, what do you guys think about my favorite part of the phone for the cameras is for me? I'm gonna pause for a second, let you try to think about it. Okay, did you get it right? Did you leave a comment down below before I said cameras? The cameras, not just the cameras, video in 5x4 is sweet. I shot my last video. Let me open it up here. I shot my last video at the recording of this video. This was my latest video, and this was shot in 5x4 using this device. I love shooting in 5x4 because the full screen is just sweet. And also when you're shooting in 5x4, you basically get a half of screen on your YouTube app if you don't have it in full screen. Like if you don't have a Galaxy Z Fold2, when you watch this, you shouldn't really have to switch it to full screen because it's not going to look like this in full screen. But if you leave it in portrait, you should have, let me show you here. Let me see if I can pull up on another phone. Let me grab the Pixel 5 and I'm going to load that video up, and you pretty much get a half of screen basically. That's, you see how it's more of the display, like up top, like half of the display. That's kind of the way it should look for you when you're watching this right here. And this is the best part of this phone for me, the video capabilities shooting in 5x4. And I will in fact dedicate a lot of videos to Samsung Galaxy Z Fold owners by recording with this phone in 5x4. Now the only disadvantage is that it has you can't do it in a higher frame rate. I believe that's the highest you can get is this 1080p, but let me double check here. Yeah, the rear is the highest you can go for that. If you do the 5x4, it's 1440 by 1152 in 30 frames per second, and that's unfortunate because that is a beautiful resolution. I think this is a great resolution, but other than that, you know, you've got all the modes here. You've got hyperlapse, slow motion, super slow mo, pro video folks, live video, which is the portrait video. You've got live focus, you've got pro cameras. They've pretty much loaded up everything, and then you got the AR zone. So there are a lot of things going on in this camera that are just beautiful to use. So, and photos overall. Oh, but speaking of that, you can turn on both displays. Like, as I'm shooting here, then I go here, you can see I got that display on. And so if the person is looking at, they can see what I'm taking a photo of, they can see themselves, and I think that's pretty fire right there. So turning that on is absolutely great. I just feel like that's just a good look, man. And it's just good look. You can do it for video too. You can see it down there. If you're recording a video for a person in 5x4, just turning on that external display is absolutely boss. And you have wide angle, telephoto, everything. I think these cameras are absolutely fantastic for what they are. And while they're not the best cameras compared to other Samsung cameras, they are absolutely fantastic cameras and totally doable. The colors, the way they come out, they're not the best colors, and they're accurate, but they're a little soft, but still, they still look really good depending on which device you're looking at and which screen you're looking at it on. So the smaller your display, the crisper it's going to look for you. That's just how it works. But Z Fold owners, I've been shooting a lot in 5x4 for you because I think you should take advantage of the full screen when watching the videos like this. I think this is fantastic. Now, an area where, aside from the hardware not being the best, I would say, and then another area where I think it's kind of shabby at is in the battery life. Now, the battery life is something that always is going to be who? Say it in the comments. Who? You. You are the determining factor of what your battery is going to look like. And my battery is really consistent. I'm getting about 7 hours of screen on time on every charge. And if you look here across the board here, I'm pretty consistent. That is some consistent battery. And right now I have 70% left with 2.5 hours of screen on time on today's charge. So that is just a beautiful thing. However, the standby time, son, the standby time, I'm getting between 16 and 24 hours and nothing more than that. So the standby time is definitely not the best, but it is totally doable for, you know, the day-to-day tasks, if you will. I really like the overall performance of the battery, giving me 7 hours of screen on time. But standby time, I think, is important to me. Screen on time is okay to try to measure a device by, but I personally like the standby time. The more I'm off the charger makes me happy. Everybody measures their battery the way they want to measure it. Screen on time doesn't really mean jack to me. I want the phone to be there for me when I need it. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be there for me. Yeah. So there's a lot to like about this device, man. A whole bunch. I can't stress it enough. I might even edit this video on this device because the ultimate content creator's device is the one that you probably have in your hand or whatever you have. And if you're willing to spend the money on this device, I almost want to say I can guarantee you that you will not be disappointed, but everybody is different. Even people who have returned it really love it still. They just couldn't get past the price. Maybe they didn't have a trade-in or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it is, but the point is, it is a fantastic device, man, and it's really difficult for me to put it down. I now have to use this next to another device, and another device is either the Pixel 4a or the Pixel 5. I gotta have some kind of Pixel, and I do have other devices laying around that I use from time to time, but I have to use this device, man. And I really wish Google would create a folding device. I wish Apple would creating a folding device, and I actually wish they would take notes from both of these OEMs, put it together. Somebody get it done. Somebody get it done. Get it done to where I can have a folding device that can do it all. You know what I'm saying? Give me something to work with, man. Give me a folding device. I want a folding device from a lot of OEMs, man, because this is fantastic. That's just fantastic. I really like this device, man. And I put out a video a while back saying, here's why I really like it. And I don't think my thoughts have really changed from that. I just really enjoyed this device, man. It is so beast mode. It is beast mode. For real, for real. It is that good, son. And I think you will like it too if you give it a chance, man. I know it's asking a lot of my followers because I like to get devices that cost pennies on the dollar but still perform well, which is why I try to bring you all of those devices. But I don't know, man. I think that this is one that if you can afford it, I never really use that terminology because I know you probably can afford it. I guess it's if you want to spend the money. I think that this is a device that you'll be so happy with, son. It is that good. When I want a regular style phone, I got one. And speaking of network, since I'm talking about phones, this is fantastic for phone calls. I haven't had any problems with drops and anything like that. When I'm using Bluetooth or anything like that, I'm all in with this thing. It's the phone calls are great. Tested it on T-Mobile, AT&T. Since I have the unlocked version, I can test it on every carrier. I haven't tried Visible, but I know it'll work on Visible too, which is Verizon. It definitely works on AT&T, Cricket, Sprint. It works on all of them. So I just hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I think this is like the ultimate device for a creator and a person. It has nothing to do with business device and all that stuff. Nah, son, this is just a great phone, period. This is a great phone, and I really hope that if you have the opportunity to get it, that you can grab it, that you get it. I think you're really gonna be impressed, to the point to where you'll tell yourself, man, I hate to spend so much money on this device, but you will love it once you're able to get it. I wouldn't lie to you. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. If I didn't cover something that you wanted to talk about in this video, leave a question down below, and if I can get to it, I'll get to it. The comments get kind of flooded at times, but if I can get to your question, I will get to it. Like if you just have a question, well, Jay, how long does it take to charge? Well, I can tell you that now since I asked that question. This device takes me, I use super fast charging, so I'm getting the full 45 watts out of it that it can handle, and it takes about an hour and 15 minutes, or hour and 10, maybe 15 minutes to go from 1% to 100%, roughly. So it charges pretty fast with super fast charging. I have never charged it with the charger in the box. I use this right here. This is my charger of choice by Ampere. Go to Ampere's website. I got a video up on this too. This charger will run you about 70 bucks. It is totally worth it. It's Type C. It's a super fast charger. It's 65 watts PD. It's beautiful, and it will last you too. So that is what I use to charge all of my devices, and they all charge from 0 or 1%, depending on how big it is, in at least an hour or no more than an hour and a half. So that's my usage for it. So anyway, it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. God bless. Take care.